do you end up doing time or you?
Yeah, I did 23 months.
You did 23 months.
Yeah.
And where were you at?
I was at the Federal Correctional Institution at Lauderdale, Pennsylvania.
Who else is in that facility? Who is getting arrested there? Who's doing time there?
A third of the prisoners are pedophiles.
Okay.
Mafia dons. There were a lot of mob guys.
A third of the people there are pedophiles?
Pedophiles.
So why would they put you there with...
I'm glad you asked me that question, and I swear we didn't plant the question. At my sentencing, my attorneys asked the judge to put me in a minimum security work camp. Okay, there are no bars on the windows. The doors are unlocked. You're free to come and go as you please. You're just on your honor not to run away. And most of those guys work at there's a university in the town, the little village nearby, and you sweep the floors or whatever. The judge says to the prosecutors, any objection? They said, no objection. She says, okay, minimum security work camp. Well, the strange thing in our system is if you're sentenced to prison and you're free until the date of your incarceration, you physically drive to the prison and knock on the door and say, I'm here to turn myself in. It's weird, right? So I got up that morning and a couple of my lawyers, my cousin and his son, a documentary film crew, we drive to the prison and I go to the camp, minimum security camp, and I knock on the door and I said, I'm John Kiriakou, I'm here to turn myself in. They said, oh, you have to go across the street to the actual prison. They'll process you and then they'll just bring you back over here. I said, okay. So I go across the street to the prison and said, I'm here to turn myself in. The guy says, okay. They put me through a metal detector. And then he starts to lead me around to the back of the actual prison. And I said, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be at the camp across the street. And he goes, not according to my paperwork, you're not.
Wow.
And I told myself, take it easy. There's nothing you can do. They'll put you in solitary if you say anything. So I didn't say a word. It took me about 45 minutes to get processed, and then they put me in a cell, like an actual cell. It was a 4-man cell, but they squeezed 6 guys in there because of overcrowding. It took me 4 or 5 days before I got access to a phone.
To call your lawyer.
I called my lawyer, and I said, hey, they put me in the actual prison with the mafia kingpins and the Mexican drug cartel guys and the pedophiles. What do I do? And he said, oh, my God. He said, well, we can make a motion, but it'll be 2 years before we have a court date. He said, buddy, I'm sorry. You're going to have to tough it out.
Get out of here. 23 months, 2 years.
And I told myself, you've lived in far worse places than this.
Are you married at this time or
Yes.
no? What is your wife doing? Because I know your wife was also in the CIA.
Yes. She was fired from the CIA on the day of my arrest just because she was married to me.
No other reason?
No.
And is that common etiquette because married, they're worried you're going to...
Unprecedented.
Well, because Jonah Mendes and Tony Mendes were in it together and they were married for 28 years or something like that.
The CIA encourages agency romances because you're both cleared, so you can talk about work. We used to have this joke at the agency that
marry another CIA.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's married. We had this joke at the CIA that when you go into a meeting, don't touch the conference room table because you don't know who was having sex on it last night.
No. Seriously?
Yeah.
Because they're married and they're just...
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I worked for a deputy director of the CIA who had been married 3 times, and all 3 of his wives had been his secretary.
All 3 of his wives had been his secretary. So the place smells like Badusi. It's just a terrible...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not good. Some people like that.
And that's why you've got a 75% divorce rate.
Wow.
Because they're all banging each other.
No, I mean, okay. So, and are they banging each other and like dropping intel? Hey, you don't even know what I learned yesterday. Ooh, tell me.
Sometimes, yes.
That's pretty nasty.
Yes. And then they'll ask you about that on the polygraph.
Yeah. Interesting. So, okay. So now you're going through things. Any famous people you were in there that we would know about? Any bosses that we would know about?
Yeah, the boss of the Gambinos was there.
Which one?
Little Nicky Caruso.
Okay.
And the number 3 in the Bananos.
And you're hanging out with them?
Yeah. In fact, the Italians adopted me. So I was with the Italians the whole time I was there.
And did they know what your background is?
Oh, yeah.
They all know?
Oh, yeah, they all know.
And how did they...
And I'm still friends with all of them.
Did they treat you were they afraid of you? Did they respect you? Did they hate you? Did they want to kill you?
It was all respect. And I owe the easy time that I had there, I owe to Mark Lanzalotti. So Mark was from Philadelphia, and
With Scarfo and those guys? Or?
exactly. And then he saw in the New York Times an article saying that I was coming to that prison. And God bless him, on his own volition, he went to every one of the Italians to explain to them, this CIA guy is coming. He's not a cop. The FBI are cops. The CIA protect us from the Muslims. That's what he told them. And so when I arrived, they had been told, I hate the FBI as much as they do. And so
Interesting.
we were all one big happy family. Hi, everybody. I'm John Kiriakou, former CIA officer. Please find me on Minect. We have a lot to talk about. CIA, FBI, DOD, torture, secret prisons, international renditions. Maybe you or your child want to apply for a job at the CIA and are looking for some tips. Let me know. There's a lot we can talk about. You pick the subject, we'll make it happen. Again, it's on Minect. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.